Hello everyone, good evening, welcome back to my channel again. Tassos, wonderful Wednesday evening, and I thought, why not, since I have some time, some free time, to make a video. So, first of all, a huge shout out to my friend Subliminal VCR for inspiring me into making one of these, and he has plenty of good ideas. I'll also be making the one, with which is like the best game, the one that remains in the end, game versus game, by picking random amount of games from my library. That would be also very awesome, quite awesome. So today we're talking about the Atari 2600, and I'm gonna be giving you a tour in my gaming cave, showing you the stuff that I got from the Atari, the stuff from my collection that are Atari related. I'm gonna be showing you the 2600 stuff. So, what is there to say about the Atari 2600 that hasn't been already told before by other people? Especially if you're talking, about the 2600 being somewhere around my age. It's probably one of the consoles that you played first. Like for me, it's the very first console I actually played with as a kid. Home console, the one that actually hooks up to a television set, and it played a huge role, an immense role, into making video gaming at home mainstream entertainment. I don't know, like I might be over exaggerating. That's how I feel about the Atari 2600. It's for me it's the OG couch co-op and play with your friends, co-op and versus, head to head playing with your friends, and it has a very specific charm that I don't really think can be replicated today. So no matter the primitive graphics, it still helped you use your imagination to a point where anything goes. And it's just like I said, like I've already said, I don't think there is much that I can say about the Atari 2600 that hasn't been told before by other people. The Atari 2600 was so immensely popular that it basically overshadowed any kind of replacement that came after it. So much so that when someone says the word Atari, our mind instantly goes and gets this image of the Atari 2600 specifically. So, without further ado, let's move on to me giving you a tour into my gaming cave, showing you Atari stuff. And I hope I wasn't, too much out of frame. We'll start with this thing. Now, of course, there's some gaming going on there, and it's Atari, but we'll get to that. So this is an Atari clone, and those were very common back in the day. It's also very fitting that we start off with this one because it contains the very console that me and my best buddy Tio and his brother used to play on as kids. It has this very same console that we used to play as kids on. And it's in a pretty rough shape today, but it's still functional. An amazing system, and what I really enjoyed about this specific console, let me just find the right flop so that I can open it, is that it actually has built-in games on there, which is really amazing. This is like the rough shape I've been talking about. This actually popped out. This is perfectly compatible, as you can see, like it says video computer console instead of VCS is VCC, and it has 4 switches like power on. I don't even know what auto search means. Well, No, I actually do. Auto search, I feel it's the knob that we use for searching the games in there, because no matter how perfectly compatible this thing was and is with Atari peripherals like controllers and paddle controllers and the cartridges, it also comes with apparently 9,990 games. I don't really believe that. I think there's an amount somewhere in between, like 48 to 64. There is a specific the specific switch that, I think it was this one, like channel 2 and 3. You would actually switch that thing, and it's 3 actual spots that you can switch that thing to, and it would give you different kind of games. So again, I might remember this the wrong way, but last time I worked on it, it was still functioning, and there is actual games installed in there. Games like Pac-Man, Missile Command, Boxing, Outlaw, a bunch of games that were really, really popular back in the day. As you can see, there's no engravings. It doesn't say anywhere like Atari or anything like that. And those were very common back in the day, and the good thing about those is that they only came in a fraction of the original Atari's price. And that was a huge deal for us back in the day, because video gaming was quite a luxury, and we couldn't really afford having like the more expensive consoles like the NES and stuff like that. So for many of us, it was either the Atari or nothing. And later on, it was the Famiclones, but that's a topic probably for a different video. But I didn't know one kid in my block back in the day that didn't absolutely love the Atari, even if it was like a clone. Amazing system, and this one specifically holds sentimental value for me, because again, this is the very same system we used to play with my buddy Tio, my best friend, and his brother, actually. So I'll leave this here on the side, and we'll go right here, and I'll lower the ISO a little bit so that you can actually have a more crisp image. This is a game called Cross Force for the Atari 2600, and we're playing it, and this is my main Atari 2600 on, and now I'll bring the ISO back, sorry about that, I do that a lot, an OG Atari 2600. I'll try to show you a little bit. Come on, don't fail me now. It's not visible, is it? It's not really visible. It's okay. I'll try to lift it a little bit. Now it's visible. It says Atari 2600. This is the 4th model that came out. It was nicknamed the Darth Vader model. You can clearly see that the cartridge Cross Force, and it was nicknamed Darth Vader because of its blackness, and it's the only one up to this point. It's the only console, Atari 2600 console, up to this point in time, when this was released, that actually says the whole thing on the front underneath the logo, Atari 2600. And the main reason that was done, it's for people to be able to distinguish it from the newly released back then Atari 5200. What a piece of shit that was. But let's not talk about that now, because the Atari 2600 really came back and kicked his ass and remained relevant, while the 5200 faded to obscurity. I got this console from a recycling bin, of all places. So keep this in mind. Someone else's trash is, and always will be, might be, somebody else's treasure. Also, you can see Asteroids in there. That's one of the original killer apps for the system. I think this one and Space Invaders. I'm pretty certain that Space Invaders was one of them. But yeah, and the controller I have right here I think that one originally belongs to the other system that we're going to be checking out in a bit, and that one is the Atari 2600 Junior. Let's make a cut here, and let's go in my living room and continue this. So we continue, and I have a really strange source of light here, just so you can see the actual console. Sorry about that. Again, this is the Atari 2600 Junior. This is the second console that actually needs to state what kind of console it is, mainly because people didn't want it to get confused with the Atari 7800, which actually was having a very similar shape to this one, and also came out somewhere around the same time. And as you can see, it is much more compact than the VCS, the original VCS. Much more compact. Still does the same thing. Does this great job of giving us amazing 2600 games, 2600 game experience. And what we have here is a port of Mrs. Pac-Man. One of the, if not the best, port of arcade games on this system. In my humble opinion, the first spot must be given to a title named Q*bert, which I'll be showing you in a bit. Obviously, this game is one of my favorites. I mean, you know me, you know I love Pac-Man. And as I'm showing you this one, as you can see like the screen, let's draw back just a little bit and let me show you something else. So what else do we have here? We do have, and I'll bring the ISO again a little bit, we have the Atari 2600 Plus, which is an amazing system that has come out like a year or something ago. This is brand new. This is something you can actively go out there and try to seek out and buy today. It works with an HDMI port on newer type of televisions. And while it is essentially an emulation box, it's, as far as I'm concerned, super compatible with your original Atari 2600 cartridges. And it also plays your 7800 games, if you happen to have any. Let's open this thing up a little bit, and I'll be talking a little bit more about this. While I use this very often, I like putting it back in its box. I think PlayOn is the one responsible for this system. It's a one-on-one replica, well, technically not one-on-one because it's smaller, but it's a perfect replication of the original VCS, but it's only more compact. I would say it's somewhere around the same size as an Atari Junior. This logo that says Atari over there lights up. It's amazing, and this is a high quality product. It basically reads your cartridges and dumps the ROM in there. They've done an amazing job with this. And I'm super happy to say this, that the same company that gave us this will be the same one that will bring us later on in this year, the Neo Geo AES Plus. So, amazing job, and I love the support that this system has. It has, there's a web page, there's a, sorry about that, I'm losing like my words right now. There is a page on the web where you can actually update the software of this one. So if it just so happens that a very specific game that you have doesn't really work properly, they still make updates as far as I'm concerned. Even though I think I've done the last one, I haven't really heard if they're gonna be having a new one, but I'm guessing the issues, if they were any, like they're kind of diminishing, like most of the games are compatible now. And like I said before, I love the support for this system. They still make peripherals about this little thing over here. We have perfect Atari 2600 controllers like this one. Amazing stuff. We have new Puddle controllers that just came out, and you can actively go out there and find those and buy those. And I'm holding this one right now, and it feels exactly like the OG one that I do have, and it's down there. Let me show you just a little bit. There it is. It's still being hooked up. It's the same thing. Like holding it, this one is a little worn down, but it's, battle scarred, but still works perfectly fine. This is an exact copy, down to every minute detail, and the actual quality of these is surprisingly nice. It feels like the real thing, like you just so happen to find one of these being closed in its box for 40 years or something. And it's not the only thing they've been doing, because they have also been bringing back some new releases or re-releases of older games on this system. Like, first of all, we have releases of games that weren't there to begin with, we didn't have before. Like this, Atari 7800 Pac-Man Double Feature. This came out, I think, in 2025. Yes, in 2025. And it's compatible with your old 1700 if you still have one, or with this guy. It's super compatible. It's almost a one-on-one recreation of the original arcade Pac-Man game. I even showcased it on my Fruit Salad Challenge. And then you have releases like this one, Berserk for the 7800. This was released in 2024. Again, amazing job. Sorry for the focus, like it doesn't focus right away. So yeah, this one, I think it was like a homebrew that someone made in the early 2010s. And since Atari already had the rights to this one, they released it in cartridge form in 2024. Amazing stuff. And of course, we also have re-releases of older games, like the absolutely hilarious Ninja Golf for the 7800. There's still people making games and support this system so much. So I absolutely love this. So we've seen the consoles, the one that I have in my collection. Let's jump to my library right in the back and see a little bit what's going on there, sorry. Okay, we moved in my part of the library where it's just Atari games. Before I start showing some of these, let me also show you because I was talking about support for the Atari 2600 system. This is Mrs. Blooper controller. This is an Atari controller customized after the Pinky character from Pac-Man. So yeah, crazy good stuff. I wanted to show you this one. And let's move on with this. This also came with the Atari 2600 Plus. Has 10 games in there. Adventure, Combat, Dodgem, Haunted House, Maze Craze, Missile Command, Real Sports Volleyball, Surround, and Video Pinball, and Yard's Revenge, an absolute classic. And here we have the boxed games. We have Millipede, we have Klax. Look at that. And the boxes are actually in pretty good condition. Let me fix the focus just a little bit so that you'll be able to see better. So this is Millipede. This is Klax, and this is a very important game for the Atari because this one actually signified the discontinuation of the Atari 2600. I think it was, let me see first time. Like, copyright 1990. I think it came out in 991, like towards the end of 991, maybe 992. Because it says 1990, but it's copyrighted by Tengen. It's not exactly that it was released that same year. But it was definitely the last game ever produced for the Atari 2600. An amazing puzzle game. As a kid, I didn't really like puzzle games. Here's Q*bert. Like for me, this is probably the single best arcade port for the Atari 2600. And this is actually very interesting that many people might not know. I've read this in the manual that when you're holding the controller, you're not supposed to be holding the controller like this. You're supposed to be holding it like this, so that the whole movement makes sense. Pressing left, right, up, and down on the controller. So if you have tried this one and you feel like you're not doing that well, maybe it's because you don't really know how the controls should be working. Nobody told you about that. Here we have Dark Chambers. Now this is a very interesting and very ambitious concept for a console like this one, because it's supposed to be having zombies there, skeletons and different kind of monsters. It's like going into dungeons and finding stuff. Really crazy thing. Junior Pac-Man, I have a love and hate relationship with this one because it's so freaking hard. It's like so intense. And before you even start breathing, you lose versus these pesky ghosts. And here we have Tomcat. Tomcat F-14 Fighter Simulator by Dan Kitchen. And I'll tell you this. This and Indiana Jones, The Lost Ark, and in this library of games for the Atari are the only games that I know of. There might be other ones as well, that you need the entire system to be hooked up with two controllers, and you're using all the switches and knobs on the system and the two controllers to be able to work the entire thing, to be able to lift off the plane or whatnot. That's insane. So we have the quintessential cartridges that they say they have 48 games, and this is obviously like a pirated cartridge. It just says 2600, but you know what? This was even before the Famiclone cartridges that claimed they had like 9 million games in there. At least these ones, when they said 48, they meant it. So a point given for the pirated cartridges like these for the Atari. Like some of the titles, like the spelling is horrible, like Fishing Derby, Errol Sea Battle, Autolaw. Like this is supposed to be Outlaw, by the way. Yeah, crazy good stuff. And then we move on to the loose cartridges over here. You can see some bangers, some really well-known games like Outlaw. Like I have a second copy of Mrs. Pac-Man, because why not? We have a second copy of Mrs. Pac-Man. We have the OG Pac-Man that gets too much hate, I think. The man responsible for making these didn't have the resources, and they even gave him, I think, the 2 kilobyte space cartridge, which was insane for the stuff they were asking him to pull off. Of course, like Outlaw, I like these ones that they don't just say the name of the game, that they kind of show some Clint Eastwood characters or something like that. And this one, I think, no, not I think, this one is an actual multi-card that is, non-pirated. It's an official product by Atari. 32 games in one. This is one of the craziest cartridges, and I think also my friend Subliminal VCR has one of these. This is Donkey Kong for the Atari 600, and look how many different companies are involved with this one. Obviously, it says Coleco, because Coleco had the rights. I think they got it first for making Donkey Kong port for the system, for the ColecoVision, and it was actually the best damn port back in the early 80s. They got hot sales because of that one game. And look at that. It's like it says Coleco, it says Nintendo, because obviously Nintendo is responsible for Donkey Kong, and then you have Atari. All in the same all in the same cartridge. Insane stuff. Let's see what else do we have here. Of course, we have Centipede. Come on. How can you go wrong with games like that one? And Millipede is also amazing. I think Millipede is actually better. And, of course, we have amazing titles like Yard's Revenge, like Howard Scott Warsaw's Yard's Revenge, a guy that got too much hate for giving us, where are you? Don't hide, I will find you. I'm pretty sure you have already spotted it before I even thought about it. There we go, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And this game also gets lots of hate. And, one of the best developers over the time made this one in a very short time frame. How else can I say it? And there's all sorts of crazy stories talking about these, I don't know how many thousands of copies being buried in a landfill. That sounds so crazy, to be honest. And if you think about how many stinkers we have today, blaming a game like that for being over ambitious, because that's what I think what it is. It has some issues, yeah, some very huge faults, especially regarding the pits that you fall in, but really not that much of a big deal. I even have a video beating this one for this channel. Of course, this is one of my top favorites, and my love for this game even starts with the actual shape of the cartridge. We have Cosmic Arc by iMagic. I love the shape of these cartridges. I even have another one like this one, named Atlantis. Come on, the Atari was freaking amazing. We have Jungle Hunt. Have you played Jungle Hunt? This one you could actually beat. It was one of those that had an actual ending. And that one, and of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones can seem to find it right now because I made quite a mess. Of course, Wizard of War is an amazing game. Stampede. Phoenix. Sorry about that. Is one of my top favorite shooters. I think also my buddy Subliminal VCR has this copy. This one has an actual boss fight. I don't even know how many games back in the day were able to do something like that, to pull off something like this. And let me show you some last ones because this is getting out of hand. It's already almost half an hour in. Of course, the killer app, Space Invaders. We have Mega Mania. And Activision played a huge part in making Atari 2600 the hot thing that it was. Mega Mania. We have Keystone Capers. Actually have fond memories of playing this one as a kid in my aunt's house. We have Roadrunner. I actually love this one. I don't have many things to say about it other than, it's super fun and funny. Of course, we have Raiders of the Lost Ark, which it required you using both the controllers to be able to control Indy, to have one controller, if I remember correctly, was used to open up the menu, and the other one to move around and use your whip and stuff. So cryptic. I'm pretty sure going back at it today, I would be even confused and not remember exactly what I'm supposed to be doing in order to beat this. It's been more than a while. Of course, Konami with an interesting shaped cartridge. Marine Wars. You don't believe me? It's Konami? There it is. It says over there, it's Konami. Let me help this thing focus. There we go. It's Konami. Oh, come on. Konami. Can you see that? Yeah, it's kind of weird looking, but it's Konami. Trust me. And this one is actually very interesting. It is you basically shooting ships and submarines, if I remember correctly, and it gives you that pseudo 3D feeling with a change of colors, the depth of the sea in front of you. It feels like 3D, and you just shoot ships and earn points, and they can shoot back at you, and obviously you lose. I don't remember how many lives you have. Of course, we have Star Wars games. May the 4th was a couple of days ago. And we have two games, Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back. This one is actually quite simplistic. It's kind of like Defender, a game that I do have. But this one was more interesting. It was an interesting shooter, Return of the Jedi. It was actually the Death Star battle. It says right there. Uh, I absolutely love that game. Actually, I really like it. So we have another bunch of like very interesting games right there in the back. We have Desert Falcon. We have Gangster Alley. Again, another copy of Jungle Hunt for some reason. We have Sequest, of course, River Raid. I even have Rampage somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Fortunately, it's visible. Of course, I have a bunch of games that require you to have the paddle controller, and this got really out of hand. I even wanted to show gameplay footage. There's no way I can do that. But if you want, by any chance, to see me play more Atari games, and having said that, I feel like the Atari 2600 games have the best kind of potential for the gaming challenges that we've been pulling off all this time, because they're short games, they're very interesting, they're very gimmicky at times. They can be very gimmicky, lots of them, and you can basically give your score or your challenge or whatever like in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes tops, like gameplay. So you can have like short videos without tiring other people, into watching the entire thing. I feel like Atari has this in the bag in terms of issuing challenges. So I would like to pass the torch, like, to anyone else that wants to do something like this. I would like to see other people showing off their collections and talking a little bit about their memories or whatnot about on the Atari 2600 topic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, huge thanks and shout out to my friend Subliminal VCR. I also saw Retro Steve making this one. I didn't have time to check it out. I will check you out, dude. Yeah, again, guys, thanks for watching. Stay retro, and as for me, I'll see you next time. Bye.